Mic check, mic check. Testing. Check, 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 check. All right. Good morning, everybody. If you are new here, welcome in. First things you should do if you're brand new is go to the WAP course. Go to the WAP. If you don't know this, WAP is an app. You can download the WAP app, but go to the course on WAP and at least at a minimum watch video number 1. It's going to help you navigate the Discord server. It's going to help you understand a little bit of how we do things, a little bit of the scheduling, or if you could just stay patient for me. I'm not going to leave anybody in the dark when it comes to where to go and what to do and how to find things. I'm always going to be I'm extremely attentive to my duties as a mentor. So if you're new here, if you can just stay patient for me, I think that what you'll find is that a lot of these FAQs that you will have and that you'll want to ask will be answered through action throughout time. Or if you just want to go complete the WAP course, most of your questions will be answered there. All right. We are going to build out the watch list together. I haven't looked at anything. There's a lot of adjusting that I think we have to do based on where SPY is currently trading at. So we're going to do all of that in real time together. So number 1, this is the focus list. This comes out every single afternoon after market close. This is the focus list for the next day. When I send this out, this is your homework. I need you to go chart every single one of these. Go chart it out. Go draw your levels, find support and resistance lines, make a rough plan. And then in the morning, what we're going to do is take this focus list and update that rough plan. Are these names still in play from what we were originally looking for? If not, we can take them off the watch list. Are other things in play? If so, we add that to the watch list, right? So let's start with SPY, first one on the list. And we're going to be on the 5-minute time frame here. So we've been waiting for this range on SPY to break down or break out to give us some direction, right? Well, we finally have that breakdown happening here in the pre-market. Your support from prior is 679 to 680. Therefore, we could probably say that that's also going to be a point of resistance overhead, as old support can become new resistance. Therefore, if we want to go long on SPY, where does it make the most sense to go long at? At the prior point of resistance, right? So that's going to be $680. Below where SPY is currently trading at, I have a gap drawn from the daily chart time frame. We'll just extend that to the right. This is a gap below, right? Let's go look at the daily. This is a gap right here. Disconnect between 2 candles found on the daily chart time frame. So SPY is broken down from this range, broken down from this little mini bear flag, and is selling right now. So we're going to look for the continuation sell-off. That's one way to increase our chances of being profitable on our day trades, is by trading with the trend on a macro scale, on a larger scale. So since that gap area starts right here, we'll draw a trend line. It makes the most sense when we move back to the 5-minute time frame to go short inside of that gap for the gap fill down to 673. Now, we don't want to go short right here, right where the stock's currently trading at, but let's just go a little bit lower. So 675 is going to be your short level, or if you want to just play it safe, you can go short at 673. You could do that as well. So short at 673 would also work, but you kind of miss out on that gap fill. You know what I mean? So 675, I think, is going to be the level that we're going to go for. This is an aggressive level, but it makes sense to be aggressive because SPY is just now giving us direction outside of this multi-day range. We're going to try to stick with that direction and sell this thing off. That is how we're going to increase our chances of being profitable on some day trades today. Number 2 is Tesla. Now, Tesla was a continuation idea to the top side. However, the sell-off this morning pulls that continuation trade idea out of play, right? If we're looking at this almost looks like a bull flag that we were expecting to break out today and continue up. That's not what we're given now. We're given a gap down that pulls this. I mean, it retraces all of yesterday's breakout move. So there's nothing here to the top side for us anymore. Why? Because there's too many resistance points overhead, right? If we were to identify all of the different resistance points, here is what I would see roughly. We've got resistance at 458 based off the pre-market peak. We got resistance at 462 based off of pre-market peak. We got resistance at 464 based off of yesterday's support. We got resistance at 468 based off the previous day's closing price. Resistance at 470 based off yesterday's price action. 473, 474 based off yesterday's price action. So if we were to go long on Tesla, where does this stop? Right? If we were to go long on Tesla today, does it hit this point and reject? Does it go here and reject? Does it go here and reject? Does it go here and you see what I mean? There's too many resistance points overhead for this to give us any sort of clean price action. Now, this might, and anything could happen, right? This might just decide to reverse and run all the way back up. And then you'd be mad at me. You're like, Gates, well, we missed an opportunity. We should have went long on Tesla. I hear you. But if this does do that, right, and we miss all of that opportunity to the top side, who cares? Because then that sets us up tomorrow for another breakout, for another continuation move. So we're foregoing a trade on Tesla today to set us up for a better trade on Tesla tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. So Tesla removes from the focus list. There's nothing there for us. NVIDIA, next one on the watch list. Now this is also a continuation idea to the top side. We were looking for new all-time highs. Unfortunately, we got the gap down this morning. So actually, NVIDIA is still in play, just not to the top side anymore. We see the ranging support right here at 201, right, roughly. But we also know what to be true, that whole numbers at 200, whole numbers like 50, 100, 150, 200, they act as natural points of support and resistance within the market. Therefore, if NVIDIA fails to hold 200 as a point of support, look at this move here that it made up, right? That's a pretty quick move up. It can make just as fast, if not a faster move on the way back down. So NVIDIA does deserve to be on the watch list, not as a long idea though, as a short idea. It is no longer a continuation trade idea to the top side because it's gapped down. We are now trading closer to the support, so it is a continuation move down to the bottom side. So NVIDIA, we write this down on the watch list. We'll just put it right here since we already have our short below level written. Short below 200, and we're going to say on watch for a, if I could spell here, on watch for a break of the range. Is it a range? Yeah, I would say that's a range, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 days of consolidation. On watch for a break of the range and the natural whole number support below the current trade price. Okay, yes, so that looks good. Now on to the next one. Google. Always remind yourself of the setup. If you don't remember what it was, you can go back to the daily and look. Google is let's actually do that. Gap fill trade idea down, not a very big gap, but it is there, right? So we'll mark that gap out. So it's a range. It's 3 days of consolidation at the all-time high. We were looking, could this get to the all-time high? Doesn't seem like it given the gap down this morning, and look at where this is finding support. Right at the top of that range. Now that range is so minor that it's not really going to be something that we're like, oh yeah, range, gap fill trade idea. But Google still could, if this overall market continues to sell off, Google still could pull back because of how extended it is on the daily. So I do like this as a trade idea, but we're not going to go on the main chart with this. We're going to go side chart because this might be something that we replace if there's something that offers us a little bit more profit margin. So we'll say Google below $276. And move on, and we will come back and adjust that if we need to. Amazon, next one on the watch list. So Amazon has a gap to fill down below, but Amazon also is trading at the all-time highs overhead. So 259 actually is, no, 258.5 is your proper all-time high. But this is trading way closer to the support than the resistance. So you see the big gap there. I identify all of my gaps with this big gray shaded box so that I know that they're there. I recommend that you do the same thing as well. So it's a very easy short idea under 244 for the gap fill down to the bottom side. And there are two ways we could approach this to the long side. We could say long above 258.5 at the proper all-time high, or we can go long at 254 for a red to green move. Now, a red to green move, all revolves around the reclaim of the previous day's closing price. If you're not noting where the PDC is every single day, you're wrong. You need to be doing that. It is a very important level that stocks trade around all the time. So we're going to say Amazon long above 254, on watch for a break at the previous day's closing price. Otherwise, we will look to take it short below $244. So here we're going to say looking for either a red to green move on the reclaim of the PDC, or an entry into the gap area below. Now, I remember I was looking over here in the main chat, and there's a new member here that was asking, hey, is this the chat for the trading floor signal by the admins? First of all, there's not admins here. It's just me. I do have people with purple names that are more experienced traders, but they are on their own program when it comes to calling things out. They don't work for me. I don't pay them. They're just here kind of like volunteering, right? These are members that have been here for years and years and years. I would even consider them friends. They do make call outs, but sometimes what they're calling out does not fall in line with the streamlined system that I teach. So if you are new here, I would recommend not following their call outs. Not that they're making bad call-outs, but you're here for a reason, right? You're here to learn the system. You're here to learn the strategy. You're here to implement the things that I teach. So I would not be deviating and going off of other people's call-outs, even if they have a different color name in the Discord server. That's something that you can entertain later on after you've got a good, solid foundation and base built for what it is that we do here. Now, when it comes to signals by the admins, or AKA me, signals by me, I don't give typed alert signals. Your typed alert signals is this right here. It's the watch list. So if you want a typed alert signal, Amazon short below 244. That doesn't mean Amazon take it short under the assumption it's going to break 244. No. This means Amazon, you wait for confirmation, wait for the break of 244 first, and the confirmation that it's selling first prior to taking your entry. And like I said, there are no typed alerts or signals that I give. Everything that I do is all live trading in real time, and to help you navigate the Discord server and get to that live trading. I'll send out a message later, but make sure you're watching video number 1 of the WAP course. New members, we'd love to have you, but what you put in is what you will get out. So don't be lazy while you're here, my friends. Do not do it. All right, day trade watch list. On to the next one. We've already talked about Amazon. We're going to move to Meta, META. Next one on the watch list, this has just been a weak name. It's been selling. It's been making new lows. This morning, it's not as gapped down as some of these other names, probably because it already has been selling. But I like Meta as a continuation short idea under the pre-market low. So this is easy analysis. We're not looking to take this long at all. Meta short below $625. On to the next, it's going to be Microsoft, MSFT, and I also wanted to check on the price of Hood. So Microsoft, similar situation to Meta, in my opinion, where it had earnings and it's just kind of been selling off. It hasn't been dumping quite as hard as Meta, but it has not been moving up, right? And remember my analysis from Sunday when I talked about this dynamic line of support, that being your 50 EMA, that dynamic line of support, if that breaks, I think that we can see Microsoft to 500 pretty quickly. So this is going to be an easy analysis here for us, short below the pre-market lows. It's not always so cut and dry, but in this case it can be, right? Microsoft below $511. We'll say short below 511. What are we going to say here? This name, we'll say this name has been selling off since earnings and is now trading at the dynamic support on the daily, on watch for a break of that support. Good. And that's another thing too, right? Like when this watch list comes out, you got the ticker, you got the levels, but you also get the comments. You get you get reasons why every single stock makes the watch list, except for the side charts. But usually the side charts are pretty easy to understand. Like we're just looking for one thing there, so it's, kind of obvious what we're looking for. But if you don't understand what it is, read the comments. You know, that's what these are here for. I tell you exactly what we are looking for on every single one of these every single day. So it's a great opportunity for you to learn. Again, what you put in is what you'll get out. And then we had earnings: PLTR, Shop, Uber, and Spot. So we have PLTR, which is sold off. Okay. Uber, which is sold off. Spot, which is up, and Shop. Now, Spot and Shop usually aren't names that are day traded, typically with higher volume. Uber trading close to 92, so 90 down to 87. We're looking at a pre-market low of 90, so possibly we could take Uber as a continuation short idea, and then PLTR with the rejection or failure to hold 200 as support. We could also look to take PLTR short. I like this idea better because of the extension on the daily. PLTR was at the all-time highs. It's been running, and finally we're getting a pullback, it seems. So PLTR short below your pre-market low, which looks to be $188, roughly, give or take. 188. Your true low here is 190, but I like under 188. I think, yeah, that makes sense to me too, with that being a prior. Look at this. Perfect. So this is a prior point of resistance from the range, and then so now it's kind of being validated as support. So if that support fails, I think that PLTR can get down to 180 and then 170 pretty quickly. So we are going to add PLTR to the watch list below $188. We're going to leave everything else off, all those other earnings names. PLTR below 188. And you can go 188, 189, 190. You're like, Gates, I know that that's a $3 difference. If I'm setting these levels on my own, how do I know which one to go off of? Think about it like this. A $1 move on a stock priced at $200, is that really going to make a difference? Especially after earnings, when you know that it's expected to see increased volatility. Do you think that a $1 discrepancy between my level and your level is going to make that big of a difference? It's not. And so I lean more towards, like, if you have to choose between 188, 189, and 190, and you're like, damn, which level do I go off of? Which short level do I pick? I would lean more towards being conservative rather than being aggressive, especially when you have expected increased volatility from earnings. So be short below 188. All right, let's roll through the rest of the watch list here and see, is there anything that we might have missed? So UNH, Meta, and what I'm looking at here, by the way, is just going to be the after hours, or sorry, the pre-market pop. I'm looking at the pre-market pop or pre-market sell-off, and just seeing, is there anything out there that looks a little different than everything else, right? Is there anything showing some sort of relative strength, or is there anything that might have some volume there, some news, something that we might have missed? So we're going to roll through. We can do this pretty quickly. We're rolling through and just paying attention to the pre-market movement. That's USB. We're paying attention here to the pre-market movement and seeing, is there anything that we might have missed? Somebody said MU. We just passed MU. I don't see anything there. I do not see anything there on MU other than a whole bunch of extension. 5-minute time frame. And there's still plenty of support below. I wouldn't try to take this short, I don't think. There's just too much support below. Now, if there was a wide open range, like this, right? Like a wide open gap, now all of a sudden MU would look better, but it's not there. AMD has earnings this afternoon. That's going to be something to also keep in mind if you're trying to, get into some of these chip stocks. If you're looking at like MU or Nvidia, for example, AMD does have earnings. Now, I know AMD is not something that we would consider to be the sector leader. However, whatever they put out in the earnings report could definitely impact the way that some of these other stocks move, be it a sympathy play or the opposite. Sometimes it'll move, like other names will move the opposite way, the opposite direction. So it's not something that's a guarantee, but it's something that could happen. Upwork had earnings. It's up. We'll keep moving. I don't know where, like, just looking at the movement that we have right now, I don't know off the top of my head where I would want to place my trades. As far as like, okay, well, you might ask, well, Gates, what's the top stock pick of the day? It's whatever moves. I don't have a top stock pick of the day. I don't there's not one setup here that I'm like, oh my gosh, we really, really, really need to trade that. That looks so good. Amazon, I like it, but it's not opening up right near the gap. If it was, it would be a lot better. Maybe Meta, because Meta's already weak. Meta's already been selling, but that also has me a little worried that maybe Meta's extended, right? And it might be due for a reversal. This is Apple. So Apple, we could add this. Apple at 265, right? This prior resistance now becomes new support. Pre-market low is 265. So it's gap down, but not too much. Post-earnings trade idea has been selling. So lower low. So earnings, lower low, lower low. Maybe we get another lower low. We could go Apple at 265. Let's put it on the list as a placeholder for right now. And we will come back to it we'll come back to it, and we're going to tighten up this list some and see if we want to add or rather remove anything. So Hood, I wanted to check on the opening price of Hood to see if it was at 150. Remember my analysis from Sunday. I thought Hood above 150 early in the week could get us to the all-time highs. Unfortunately, the sell-off here this morning pulls it out of play, and it's too close to earnings to be trading this prior to the earnings report. So there's nothing on Hood today, nothing on Hood tomorrow. There might be something on Hood after the earnings report. So there's nothing there. Mara with earnings, PFE with earnings, Upstart with earnings this afternoon. A lot of names reporting earnings. So there's still so many outside fundamental factors affecting the market right now. Lucid with earnings. Rivian has earnings. So there's just a lot of, anytime you have that like looming news, that news that the market's waiting on, especially with big names that are reporting earnings, you do tend to see a hesitant market. And that right there might tell you something about how you should size. Today feels like already a day that I would probably be sized down on. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything. Dang, Bull's at $10. I own Bull at 15, so I'm down. What am I down? 30%. That's all right. It's a cheap stock, so it could get back to 15 pretty easily. But I'm kind of upset that I decided to buy Bull. Here's what happened. I bought Bull back here when it was like $12, and I sold it. I think I bought it over here when it was like $12, and then I sold it for a $2,000 loss as it neared $10, and then it pops to 18, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. And then it gets pretty close to 12 again. I didn't buy it, and it goes to 16. Then it gets pretty close to 12 again. I didn't buy it, and it goes back to 16. So then this time when it's pulling back, I was like, you know what, I'm tired of missing these pop moves, because from 12 to 16, or even from 13 to 16, that's like a 20% gain on your shares, right? And so I was looking to make a couple $1,000s with an investment here. And of course, when I buy now, it's trading near the all-time low. So it's not far off from that all-time low. Just bad luck, bad timing here. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with this position. It might be something that I have to cut or either add into. I don't know yet. Okay, so let's review what we have and make sure that I'm going to move this up here, and we're going to make sure that our levels are good and our levels are right. So we'll start with SPY. SPY long above 680, short below 675. Both of those levels look good. Microsoft, this honestly, this might be our top stock pick of the day. If SPY's selling like this, we might just be better off watching the overall market than anything else. Microsoft below $511. Looks good for the continuation sell-off. Amazon, either long above 254 or short below 244. Both of those levels look good. I see some of you asking about tickers. This really isn't a session, because I'm almost out of time, right? This really isn't a session where you pitch things to me and then I review them with you. Like if you have those questions, if you're wanting some analysis done or some feedback on the analysis that you have done, what I would recommend is posting a chart here in the member analysis channel, just like this. Post a chart in the member analysis channel, and then tag me in it, right? Or just tag everybody in it and see, or ask a question, whatever question you have, and just see if people see the same thing as you. That's the place to post that stuff. Just these sessions. I don't really have the time in the morning like this to go over that stuff with you. NVIDIA, short below 200, looks good. We've got Google, short below 276. Okay, looks good. Meta, I think we might leave Apple on the list. Meta below 625, yes. PLTR below 188, yes. And then Apple below 265, also yes. I'm debating on Apple because Apple has this thing now. Look, this is the trend. Opening sell-off, dump, dump, and then into chop, right? Here again, opening sell-off, dump, dump, into chop. And so do we get an opening sell-off dump? Maybe, but if we're not careful and we take the entry after we get that opening sell-off, there's a chance we get caught up in the chop. So just keep that in mind, that has been Apple's thing the past 2 trading days. Opening dump into chop, opening dump into chop, opening dump. So if we're not in on that opening dump and we get it, we need to be mindful that what follows is chop, right? Or that has been the trend. All right, so this is your full watch list for today. I'm going to go ahead and screenshot this and get this posted up for you. Again, if I see some of you posting your own charts or tickers. If you have questions for me, just post up your chart. If you have questions for the team, we got plenty of people here that are well versed that'd be willing to give you some feedback on what you got. Post it in the member analysis channel of the Discord server. Looks like somebody here asks, are we trading today? Vivian's asking, are we trading today? Yes, I trade live Monday through Thursday, sometimes Friday. A lot of times I like to take Fridays off for myself because, put yourself in my shoes, right? Burnout is real in any field that you're in. I mean, you get burnt out if you watch too much TV. You get burnt out if you are sitting in one place for too long, and you definitely get burnt out if you're looking at stocks and talking about stocks all the time, which is my life, Monday through Thursday, right? And it extends beyond, he just trades the morning sessions. I mean, if you look at my social media pages, I've got followers on there, and I'm answering questions until sometimes midnight, just stock questions. So burnout is real. So I do like to take Fridays off sometimes, most of the time, for myself. Plus, what I found is when I trade live on Fridays, because people lack discipline for the most part, they tend to also trade same-day expiration contracts on Fridays. And we've had I think now 3 Fridays in a row that we've attempted live trading where somebody has lost 40 to 60% of their portfolio value because they trade the same day expiration contracts, they over leverage, and then they don't have the discipline to cut the trade when they're supposed to cut the trade. So it makes me feel like I'm putting you collectively as traders in a bad situation to where you're losing money or run the risk of losing quite a bit of money if you're not careful. And I know that that's not my fault that people lack discipline and can't cut the trades when they're supposed to, but I feel guilty for it, and I always get the lash back for it. So I've made the rule, hey, why don't I just not trade live on Fridays? I'll still put the watch list out, right? I'll still put this out for you, but I'll let you apply what you've learned throughout the entire week on your own. And it's a great way for you to practice being independent without the need for somebody else to tell you what it is that they're doing, so you could just be a copycat. Because that's not the point of this Discord server. You are not here to just copy trades. You are here to learn a streamlined system that is a proven system that has worked and, quite frankly, doesn't really need much adjusting over time. So as long as you apply what you learn with discipline, you're going to be all right. But you got to have the chance to be able to apply it on your own, and that's what Friday offers for you. In addition, it also gives me the chance to take a little bit of a break and not get burnt out on stocks. All right, so we will be live trading today. That was the question asked. Yes, we will be live trading. Again, go watch video number 1 in the WAP course. That tells you a little bit about scheduling, a little bit how to navigate the Discord server, but I'm going to tell you again here. So this is how you're going to do it, and I'm also going to post this every single morning. This also tells you how to get there. Today we trade live. Join me in the arena, located at the bottom left-hand side of the Discord server. So Discord server, bottom left-hand side, scroll all the way down. You're going to see a voice channel heading. This is called the arena. This is where we will conduct the live trading. We don't hold it here on YouTube because there's a delay on YouTube. I can't control it. It's like 15, 20 seconds. That's no good for day trading. We want real-time information, right? So Discord server, bottom left-hand side, in a channel called The Arena. That is where we will conduct the live trading. So as soon as I end this stream here, I'll meet you all over there. Let me make sure I got this posted. Watch list for today. Yes. Okay. So watch list has been posted. How to navigate to the live trading has also been posted. Looks like we are good to go. Okay. And top stock pick of the day. I think we just rock with SPY. I think we rock with SPY. We've got a range breakdown on SPY. We've got direction established on SPY. We've got a gap below on SPY. I think that SPY is probably going to be our top stock pick. So we're going to be looking primarily to take SPY short under $675. Do be mindful, reversals can happen, right? There's an ebb and flow in the market. And it's pretty rare that stocks just move in a linear fashion. So with SPY being net down this morning, what we would probably expect to see, if we're talking like ebb and flow, right? What we would probably expect to see is a little bit of an opening rally. Ideally, this is what we want to see. A little bit of an opening rally to relieve some of that selling pressure that then gets sold at some point. And it's not really our job to identify when that peak is getting sold, but we can use different strategies like the trend line break method to identify when that trend is actually changing, and then just look at general price action. Are we getting lower highs and lower lows? Are we still getting higher highs and higher lows? Don't worry about it. I'll be here to walk you through all of that in real time. So I think top stock pick of the day has got to be SPY. We're going to keep an eye on the overall direction. Short idea below $675 for that gap to be filled. All right, if you're tuning in late, this live stream is recorded. It is available for playback from the very, very beginning. So as soon as I end this stream, if you want to just click back on the link and watch it from the beginning, you're good to go to be able to do that. So that way you're not missing anything. Great session. A lot of information put out there. Again, if you are new, if you don't do anything else, do one thing for me. Go watch video number 1 of that WAP course. I get sick and tired of answering the same questions every single time, every single day. That is what that WAP course does, is it answers those questions for you. And I know it's not your fault because you're the new trader here that just wants that information, but I'm telling you how to get that information. WAP course video number 1. At a minimum, video number 1. Watch that one, please. All right, take care. We'll see you over in the live trading. We're going to transition over to the Discord server. I'll meet you there in about 20 minutes. Good luck today. Hope the morning session has helped you out, and I hope that you make some money. Cheers.